Hello, this is Wendy from Taichi, the Way of Life. That's why you're gonna find me on Facebook. And yes, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Wendy Chan Taichi. Okay. I'm actually feeling a little bit annoyed because I made this video for my live stream, and I think I forgot to save it. So I'm going to have to do it again. So it's a qigong, and very simple qigong. I use it often just to work on my enlarging my back, expanding my back, and keeping my chest empty. Okay, so and also it's a great way to teach people to where the arm should be and not coming in and out using. So when you push your arms in and out, what you're doing is, you can see it, how I'm using my shoulder. You can see my shoulder is constantly working, but a lot of the movement, they're not actually at all coming, they're not supposed to come from the shoulders whatsoever. And this is what I want you to work on today. And also with the movements from the trunk. So when people are very new, they do all sorts of things, and then they stick their hip out to move. So they kind of like stick their hip out to move, you know, and the spine is completely not aligned anymore. And you tell them to turn, one of the knee goes further forward from the other one, where the two should be parallel, so the whole body kind of, so your knees facing that, and it's the whole body moves together, and so it doesn't, one knee goes in front of the other, that's not what happens. So it stays parallel, and then the whole body moves together. And that's what I'm going to try and get you to work on. And we will do it gradually, just using very simple movement. All right, so I did do some, you know, the standing qigong for a bit in the class, but we're going to skip that little bit out. So I'm going to go straight into what I wanted you to work on. Okay, so I start off with, says you could just kind of turn your hands as you, so everything is kind of circular movement. So I sink. As I step out, I kind of imagine that I'm turning a switch. And I do like to start off with a nice narrow stance and see how far I could get from this point. So I start off with sinking into, so finding my tailbone to my heels. So I'm trying to sink my tailbone to both of my heels, so they are 50-50 equally distributed. Then I go to my spine. All right, so I tug my tailbone. When you tug your tailbone, you do sink a little bit lower. I try and find my spine. It's almost like you know, Incredible Hulk. That's what I do. So it's like this, but it's not tense. So I feel my back is like Incredible Hulk when he changed into Incredible Hulk. That's how my back. I want to feel my back. So it's not tight, okay? And then, if you notice, I have tucked my chin underneath, so I'm not standing with mine. So tucking underneath, but it doesn't mean that I kind of become short, small. I then also lift up as if I've got something just on top, because if I do this, it's going to fall off, isn't it? So I'm still imagining I've got something sitting on my head, and I'm tucking my chin underneath, and I am making sure my shoulders is nice and relaxed. Still sinking, finding both of my heels. And I did, so when you lift your arms, when they start to lift, so what I do is I sink more into my hip flexors, okay? So I sink, but I'm not like this, because you've got to remember your spine needs to stay in a neutral spine position. So I'm coming up, I'm sinking, relaxing these. So when you relax, when you poke it, there's a gap. If you tight, you can't poke it. There's no gap, and that's what you want. It's like as if there's a gap. So I'll come up here, and I did start off with this. I quite like this because it makes me feel the connection between my hands, you see. Right, so but I'm not going to do that one. So I'm just going to skip this for this video. This is what I was going to do. So this is step by step. So just a single arm first. So as you come up, I'm sinking, I'm opening, I'm softening in my hip flexors. I'm sinking more. And then as I circle out, I just slowly release from my stance and breathe out. So it's just step by step. I'm just showing you. Again, sinking. Find my heels to my tailbone to my heels. And all the time when I rotate out, I'm cautious that I haven't closed that incredible hook back. But this time, when you come up to the top, I want you to imagine that you're lengthening your body. So that will help you to do that lifting into your crown. You're lifting up, but it doesn't mean that you tilt back. It's still tilted. And just slowly relax your leg, and your arms come straight down. Again, breathing in. Use your core to lengthen that back and breathe out. This time, I want you to start shifting weight. So same again here. Breathing in, sinking. Still finding both heels with my tailbone this time. Still, but because I want you to shift weight, I want you to find your tailbone to this side of your heel now. Alright, you can release from it. So I'm going to repeat. Breathing in. So using my core, I'm shifting my weight to this side. So I'm just looking for my tailbone on this side of my leg. So if I put all those together, it should look a bit like this. You might want to go in a bigger stance because that's help you not to, it's a little bit more pleasant for your leg. So you go breathing in. I'm opening my hip flexors, but I am actually now softening this side a little bit more because I've shifted the weight to this side of my body. Breathing in. Again, I'm going to shift the weight, so I'm finding my tailbone sitting on this heel and breathe out. But all the time, your knee should be away from each other. I'm not asking you to push them away, but they shouldn't go in. All right. As a new person, sometimes I do see them kind of almost like coming in. So you don't want them, because when you come in, you've actually tensed. Well, you're twisting your knee for starter, so that's no good. So they need to be nice and parallel all the time. All right. Then this is another thing I wanted to work on. So that was the start of the shifting. Maybe I just do all that in one go. And then I use this to start. So let's go to the trunk. You still need to soften, you still need to sit. Just isolate this area. If you just move with your trunk, you can hardly move any. So it's almost just 5 past the hour or 5 to the hour. All right. If you just use your trunk, you can't really move very, very far. All right. So sometimes see people like pushing with their shoulders. Yeah. No shoulders. Just isolate this area. So maybe just a couple of times, just your trunk first. So if you move from your trunk, you imagine the clock on the wall. You can only move 5 past the hour or 5 to the hour. Yeah? And the only way you can move a little bit more is actually by releasing your hip flexors, by relaxing them, loosening them. So if I'm going to turn this way, I sit more in this one. All right, and make it a little softer on this side. So, and you need to shift weight, so it's no longer 50-50. So let's do that again. So I'm going to, if you want, you can stick your arms out so you know where you're turning. So I'm going to sing, I'm going to shift weight. I'm actually releasing this side of my hip flexors. So see how far it's gone now? And then I'm just going to come back in. And then I'm going to do the same with this side, just to show you. So this is, so you go, not just a trunk now. I'm using my hip flexors. All right. So my heel, my knee, it's still facing forward. So they're not quite in the middle, but they're still parallel to each other. Okay. So what is happening is, because I'm moving with my hip, with here, just the hip flexors. So when I say move with the hip, I don't mean this. All right. It's not there. It's not there. It's in there. Your hip flexors are in there only. I think that's why when people say you move from your hip and then move with your hip, they really actually move with your bum, with their hips. No, not that. Okay. Right. So in order to go, and then let's use the ball. Feel the hands still connected. So this is really good for beginners. So how you're going to move that as if your hands are connected. All right. And feel the fingers growing longer as if they're going to touch each other. And I like playing with this because then I could shift weight. All right. Shifting weight doesn't mean this sideways. It isn't. You just from 50-50 and you redistribute it, you sink more on the other side. So if I shift to this side, I'm sinking to this side. I can start turning as if I'm turning my hip that way up to my hands. I don't know whether that makes any sense to you. So if I actually do this, it's easier for me to visualize it in my head. So I'm going to start on this end. So I'm sinking, I'm turning. Now this side, sinking. I want to turn my hip in there. It turns that way for me anyway. It might not. So it's not turning that way. It's actually, it turns out this way. So as it comes over the top. Or this, if it's easier. Shifting weight. Shift weight. And turn. Going to shift weight. Turn. Alright, I could go further, and then what you're happening is you will probably start to see me turning with my trunk, my body. So I could start doing things like this. Because I could, and then I'm turning with my hip. And because I'm turning, I'm sitting, I'm relaxing. I could actually move my whole body with me. So I'm turning. So I'm just stuck here because I want to show you where my knees. I just think, right, so my knee is still nice and parallel. It hasn't twisted in any way. They're still facing forward. What's happening, because I'm dropping, if you like, it allows me to maneuver my body more. That's all it's doing. So my spine is still straight. I'm still sitting in my heels. But then, you know, when I said before, you need to find a different heel to sit on, your tailbone. That's what's it's going on there. Okay, I have no idea how long this video is. I was going to say I was going to work on the arms as well. Probably I just do it really, really quickly because I've been doing this myself, just to focusing on different things and just watching my hands as well. So when your arms is out here, if you drop your elbow, because I said in the middle, at the beginning, you know, you don't pull and push like this with your arm because that's all coming from the shoulder. So how do you then drop your, you know, bring your arms in without using your shoulders? So if I just come a little bit closer, then you can't see my head. So if you drop your elbow, if you just imagine you're dropping your elbow, the arms comes in anyway. And if you're imagining you're going to bring your elbows together, so imagine you're bringing your elbows together, what happens to the arm? It lengthens. Without, so if I'm here, if I want to lengthen my arms, most probably people go doing that. Yeah, coming from the shoulder. But if you imagine you are bringing your elbows together, okay, then your arms lengthen. And that's what I was doing in the class. I just got them to come up in this position and got them to think about it being a train. So instead of just going in and out, so you drop your elbow and you imagine you're a train. So you're doing circular movement, and then when it's come back out, I want them to just bring their elbows together, drop their elbow, circular movement, bring their elbows together, circular, imagining as a train, dropping my elbow, and then bring my elbows together. So a circular, drop your elbow, feel that circle, and as if you're bringing your elbows together. Okay, all right, so this was not planned. I didn't think I need to do that. I thought I could use that recording, but never mind. That is what I was working on that class. So thank you for watching, and hope you found that useful in those aspects, in keeping your knees parallel and shifting weight. Is not about going sideways. Using you moving from the hip doesn't mean you're swaying your hip like that. You're in a dance, and the arms, extension of the arms, and it's not about pushing with your shoulders. Okay, thanks, and God bless, and until next time, and thank you for watching my videos. Bye bye for now.